You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Late, but nevertheless, good morning, everybody. Welcome to a Freaky Friday edition of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. It is July 12th already. How's everybody? Why does my hat always look good? When I put this hat on, it feels like it's not centered. Anyway, sorry for the delay today, folks. We were having some trials and tribulations in the wonderful city of Tampa. But Angel Martinez, as usual, works his magic fingers and got us. We corrected some of the issues that we had, so we are back. I apologize for the delay, but welcome everybody. Lots to talk about today. Me, O'Brien, coming up at 9:05 a.m. We'll not only talk Jaguars, we're talking NFL, and Barstool Sports. Jerry Thornton will join me at 9:30. We also have the Red Sox report at 8:15, brought to you by Morningham Lumber. That's coming up at 8:15. Some NFL news to tell you about. Bill Belichick gets another job. Tyreek Hill adds to his extended family. We got some U.S. men's soccer team news, possibly, about what coach they're going to go after. MLB, Paul Skeens, last night for the Pittsburgh Pirates. No hitter through 7. They take him out. We'll discuss that. Pirates won 1-0. Red Sox won 7-0. The Phillies have tormented the Dodgers again. Monty Kiffin passes away. Roger Goodell talks about losing the Sunday ticket lawsuit. We got some Olympic basketball news. Alec Baldwin at his trial somehow walks out of his trial as soon as he was accused in court by the prosecutor. Very interesting stuff there. And we have an arrest. Gary Miles. We played you the clip yesterday of the man who relieved himself on a lady's leg in Philadelphia at a dollar store that Angel Martinez is familiar with. But we have an arrest. And we'll play the video for you again. And the arrest has been made. And also a funny video. It's funny now because of what didn't happen. Thank God nobody got hurt. But a funny video of San Francisco nudist saved a Brazilian tourist after a pirate tried to blowtorch him. So wait till you see that video. Once we get to that, it's crazy stuff. With that, we say good morning to Angel Martinez. Angel, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Pete. As we try to get things loaded and squared away and rubbed down, and everything else is just.
I could use a rub down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you rebuilt the whole studio in 2 seconds. You almost killed yourself, you said, with lights and unplugging shit and putting it back in, and unbelievable. But great job. Great job just having you on. Great job getting us back on the air. Better late than never. An hour late this morning, but look, we're here. We're here, and I love being here. I love that you guys have joined us across the entire Coastal Sports Network video platform. Again, on Twitter X, follow me at pshep326, and the Facebook and Broad Street South Facebook pages, YouTube. We're powered by Ion TV, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, and of course on Sports Radio 102.9. The number to call or text the show 727-858-6650, as the new app will tell you. And Angels had just to dummy me through for now how to get to it on the webpage. But finally, after I don't know, this morning was like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. I mean, it was that bad. Not my end, not Angel's end.
That's okay, because I took down the studio lights. I was trying to, because I have to crawl around. And
you almost killed yourself.
Yeah, I got to. It's stuff that I have to do to make sure, because, again, you guys hear me saying all the time that I am very anal retentive with certain things because I want to make sure everything looks and sounds good. Well, as I'm crawling around, because I had to reconfigure everything to make sure we go on live, I end up taking down the 2 lamps that make, obviously, the backlighting, which now you guys can kind of see the shadow of the normal microphone that I end up using. But because of the reconfiguration and everything else, I end up knocking those things over. I'm surprised I actually didn't wake up my lovely wife in the process, but
Well, what if she found you? What would that say on your epitaph, on your tombstone? Here lies Angel Martinez. All these accolades, killed by a desk lamp. 7/12/2024.
You gotta laugh about it because it's exactly what it would say. Survived everything else in the world, died with
Yeah.
lamps.
Yeah, veteran jumps out of helicopters, does all this shit. I mean, to save the world and the planet and fight for the country, killed by a desk lamp in Tampa, Florida. Oh boy.
Life is just grand. No, but it's listen, you gotta when you try to do things, you do it on the fly. Make sure it sounds good so that everybody's still getting a very good sound. Just like yesterday, for example, is a perfect example where we had Lou Merloni on, and the wonder of things when things update. Sometimes it'll happen either in the middle of the show. Sometimes it happens during the middle of the night. Apparently, yesterday there were two updates that happened during the middle of the show, and apparently when it did, we sounded fine on the feed. The other part where we ended up losing a little bit, unfortunately, was because of the when Lou was on, everybody couldn't hear him on the socials, but you can hear him on the app, and that's why I re-released. For those who missed a Lou Merloni.
Yep, I retweeted it too.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah, that's a great job. It sounded fantastic. So,
listen, I try all I can do.
well, we'll get the Red Sox report coming up in just a couple of minutes, Angel. But if we can go to Total Sports Prep, if you can. We have Roger Goodell talking about losing the Sunday ticket lawsuit. Then we'll get to the MLB rundown. We're going to cram a lot of stuff in today as quickly as we can. As I said, Mia O'Brien coming up from Jacksonville from 1010XL and Helmets and Heels. And then Jerry Thornton from Barstool Sports at 9:30 a.m. as well. Angel, let me know when you have that cut for Roger Goodell to discuss the NFL Sunday ticket lawsuit.
All right, give me a second as I'm getting...
While you're saying that, I'm going to say for the best articles and audio, there's only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. Our staff combs through the best articles and audio so you don't have to. Sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, contact them at info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. All right. So we have some NFL news to tell you about as well, like I said. And as soon as Angel has that ready to go, let me know.
NFL, Roger Goodell.
Yes.
All righty. Let's do the okie dokie abracadabra.
All right.
So before we get to all the conversations here and the implications of streaming and media M&A, I have to ask you about the lawsuit because I last saw you testifying in this DirecTV, this lawsuit about DirecTV's Sunday ticket package, and you lost and then appealed. What do you expect to come from this lawsuit, and how do you think it will impact Sunday ticket and other deals going forward?
Well, we obviously disagree with the jury verdict, and we are committed, obviously, to following the legal process. It's a long process. We're aware of that. But we feel very strongly about our position, our policies, particularly on media, that we make our sport available to the broadest possible audience. Sunday Ticket is just a complementary product. So we're committed to following the litigation and all the way and making sure that we get this right.
Well, we will continue to follow that trial.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let me just break it down for you. That sounded sort of like a bullshit response from Roger Goodell, but for him, not totally unexpected. So the Duff Kleinman broke it down yesterday about the cost to watch every NFL game this year. So YouTube TV, $73, which, again, this is for every NFL game. Peacock, $6. Prime Video, $15. Netflix, $7. ESPN plus $11, and NFL plus $22, which is $135 times 5 months. So to watch every NFL game this year would cost you a grand total of $670. $670 to watch every single NFL game. If you want to watch every single NFL game, you have to have YouTube TV, Peacock, Prime Video, Netflix. Remember, they're going to do the Christmas games. Yep. ESPN Plus and NFL Plus. $670. Good. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Exactly.
And most of the country will pay it because it's the NFL. There'll be those out there that'll tell you I'm taking a stand. And I'm not saying it's right, by the way. I mean, it's kind of getting ridiculous. There's no doubt about it. But the ones that always say, oh, I'm not watching, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. He picks his nose wrong. He takes a knee. He poops too early in the morning. It's one excuse after another. But then they all end up watching.
They do.
In the end.
They do. But I
All
just
right.
what was it?
Go ahead.
Hold on, Pete, before you move on.
Yeah.
It was like almost like the enchilada, like, listen, kind of suck it up, Sally, because it's a convenience package. Like, that's how you clowns made your money.
Question. All right, Angel, if we could go scroll down to MLB and to the Red Sox A's highlights from last night, that would be great, because it's time now for the Red Sox report, brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out their complete line of Anderson windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly and North Reading, Massachusetts, and Plastow, New Hampshire. So if we could start, I believe, cut number 3, as Yoshida had a big 2 RBI single in the first inning. It really was all the Red Sox needed.
And a 2-0. He swings and lines that one. That finds a home into right field. In to score is Duran. In to score is Hamilton. And the Red Sox take a 2-0 lead. Yoshida sounded like he may have busted his bat. He'll take it. The Sox up 2-0.
That bat went out a hero. Got in on the hands, but did a good job of staying through the ball. That's one thing he's been working on. A lot of times getting around the ball, chopping in the ground, but that one right there, staying true, find that hole, and got the 2 RBIs.
Yeah, he sure did. And that made it 2-0 in the first inning. The Red Sox go on to win 7-0, but a couple more highlights. If we could play the last cut there with Abreu's solo shot in the 4th inning, made it 5-0 Red Sox.
Center field deep. Leday's backing up all the way to the wall, turning, and that ball gets out. Home run, Wilyer Abreu.
All right, and finally, cut number 1, Connor Wong added to the party in the and also in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Your launch angle all the time, because that's afterwards. When it's a hitter, you're not, oh, there's launch.
Yes, Wong gets a hold of one, and a smash deep out of here. Man, did he crush it. Totally out of Fenway for number 8. That's one of the
right. Thanks. In
about 7 or 8 games.
That's cutting in and out. I can barely hear that, but that's a. Oh, you can't hear? Okay. All right. Meanwhile, so again, Turner Houck was outstanding on the mound last night for the Red Sox. Limited Oakland to 2 hits in 6 innings, as you heard. Connor Wong, Wilyer Abreu, and Matsusaka Yoshida all homered. Helped the Red Sox win 7-0. They've won 8 of their last 10. They're 51-41, 10 games over 500. They've won 5 of 6 against Oakland this year. Houck is now 8-6. He had a no-hitter into the 5th, struck out 6 in his first victory since June 13th. He's had some bad buzzards luck. He threw 64 of 103 pitches for strikes, lowered his ERA from 2.68 to 2.54. Outstanding. So the Red Sox are on a roll. They still, and everybody lost last night. We'll get to the Yankees in a second. They lose again. I'll do the MLB rundown in a second. But the Red Sox maintain a 1-game lead over the Kansas City Royals for the final wild card. And it just so happens that tonight, the Royals and Red Sox will go at it at Fenway Park. Cole Reagan expected to start for the Royals, and the Red Sox did not really announce a starter. I believe the projected starter today is going to be Criswell, who's 3-3 on the year with a 4.15 ERA. So there is your Red Sox report. As always, brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out their complete line of Anderson windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly and North Reading, Massachusetts, and Plastow, New Hampshire. All right, Angel. We'll stick with MLB here for a second. Let's go to the aforementioned Yankees. And I want to play, I'm asking too much, but we'll just play this. This is the final call. Tampa Bay ends up winning 5-4. An absolutely unbelievable game-saving catch. Cut number 1, Angel, by Jose Caballero to end the game, to the astonishment of the Yes Network.
Rice goes, pitch. High fly ball, shallow center. coming on Siri, and the catch is made by Caballero. No, they say he dropped the ball. No, they say he dropped it when he took it out of his glove. So the second base umpire, Hamari, calls him out on the play in shallow center field, and the Rays hold on.
Well, the Rays can play some defense. Look at how far Caballero goes out there. Siri comes in, he makes the play, and then on the celebration, the ball pops out of his glove. What a play by the Rays second baseman.
Yankees thought he dropped the ball. Now the umpires are...
All right, Angel, that's good. That's good for that cut. And afterwards, we'll show you. If I have time, I'll show you the video. You got to see it. I don't know how Siri and Caballero didn't collide, because that would have been double decapitation if that happened. You'll see the video. You really appreciate the play. It'll be from Tampa Bay's broadcasting team. Meanwhile, Angels, Philadelphia Phillies continue to be red hot, and they have just clobbered the Dodgers in this series. Absolutely. And they got it going early. If we could go down to the last cut, Angel, right at the bottom of the first inning, the Phillies took the lead.
First cut?
Yeah, no, the last cut. Trey Turner's home run in the bottom of the first inning.
Sorry, it looks like I went a little bit too far. Didn't mind getting ahead of myself. Yep. Here we go. Last one, Trey Turner.
Yep.
All of them. Crushes.
Fly ball right field, pretty well hit. Going back, Pages back to the wall. Gone! Another home run for Trey Turner. Number 9 on the year. He is on fire. This time going the opposite way. It's 1-0 Phillies.
Tell you what,
Right, thanks.
a year he has been putting together, Tom.
Thanks again to NBC Sports Philadelphia for that one. They got it going early. Trey Turner hit a home run. Kyle Schwarber hit a couple of them. They just exploded. Brandon Marsh had a solo shot as well, and they go on to clobber the Dodgers 5-1 and sweep the series. Great win by the Philadelphia Phillies. All right, elsewhere around the league, the Cubs blank Baltimore 8-0. Detroit over Cleveland 10-1. Told you the Dodgers losing to the Philadelphia Phillies 5-1. Tampa Bay nips the Yankees 5-4. Red Sox blank Oakland 7-0. Mets over blank Washington also 7-0. Houston double up Miami 6-3. And the game of the night, or the player of the night, Pittsburgh shuts out Milwaukee 1-0. Angel, I do want to play and controversial again. And this is I have such a problem with this in Major League Baseball. And this is what happens. You know, Skeens is pitching unbelievable. He's 6-0 on the year with a microscopic 1.9 ERA, the rookie out of LSU. And if we could play, let's see, if we could play, what is it? Cut number 4. Paul Skeens' 9th strikeout, and in the end of the 4th inning.
And there he goes.
Beautiful.
He's got 9.
And that was it?
That was it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Meanwhile, on Mad Dog Sports Radio, well, let's hear from Paul Skeens himself. Underneath that, talked about taking a no-hitter through 7 before he was yanked unnecessarily, in my opinion, by skipper Devin Shelton.
I think that's kind of just where we're at in the season. Just being able to use all my weapons and attack with them and trust them. Probably a little bit more than earlier in the season. But yeah, just in a good spot. Had to grind through those first few innings, but got a couple quick innings in there and just came down to executing. Not until like the, 6th or 7th inning, I thought about it and then got out of my mind. Didn't really matter because it was a 1-0 ball game, 0-0 ball game, and then a 1-0 ball game. Just about getting outs. I mean, definitely wanted to finish it, but throwing every 6 days, 5 days, whatever it is now, definitely understand that side of it. That's their job, and they do it really well. So, wasn't worried at all when I came out of the game. Just, I knew that they would finish it. There are days where it's going to be better than others, and having all your weapons helps, and it's kind of how it was today. That'd be cool. I haven't thought about it a ton. Just been focusing on getting getting to this outing and then through it. It would be cool.
All right, and let's hear from Derek Shelton, the Pirates skipper, on pulling Skeens in the 7th. Cut number 2.
I think this 6th and 7th were impressive because the Brewers did a really good job. I mean, he threw 61 through 3. They made him grind. They gave him really good at bats, but it was impressive that he was able to continue. Not at all. He was tired. I mean, it was, it really didn't have anything to do with the pitch count. Everybody makes it about pitch counts. It was about where he was at. It was about, trusting your eyes, trusting him. When I went and talked to him after that, I mean, he was tired. They did a good job of wearing him down, and I mean, he gave us everything he had. I think it would be an interesting opportunity. It would be a really unique and cool opportunity for the Pirates, for our organization. If that's, what they end up deciding, I think we'll be very honored. His ability to adjust within the game, and again, going back to, I thought the Brewers did a really good job with him. I mean, we had not seen anybody make him grind like that early in the game, and even without giving up hits, the fact that he was able to, take his game to the level that he needed to finish it, I thought was important.
He is a rookie. There's supposed to be a little bit of humbling that comes with that.
I don't think anybody thinks that when you come to the big leagues, it's going to be like this. And there's going to be some rough patches that he's gone through. I think we're just speaking, it's a testament to, last year we made the right decision. We made the right decision on how we prepared him coming into the year, whether people thought it was right or wrong. And I think we're seeing a guy that's just really talented.
A lot of alliteration there from Monsieur Derek Shelton, the skipper. Look, he couldn't have thrown 12 or 15 more pitches. Come on, it's part of the problem with Major League Baseball. I was watching that last night, and the only reason I'm tuning in after the Red Sox got over in about 2 hours and 20 minutes last night, fast game at Fenway against Oakland. So I'm monitoring what's going on. And I go over to the 7th inning, and he's gone. After that, I mean, that's what happens. You could have had a ton of people probably tune into that game if you had the package that want to see this guy. It's a shame he's not on. I mean, I could see all their games if I want to because I have the package, but it's just you pull him after 99 pitches. Come on,
how you not?
I can't stand it.
Right, but he's also going, if he has a no-hitter, how do you take the no-hitter away from him? This reminds me of Kevin Cash in the Rays in the playoffs. How do you not allow him to go ahead and possibly have a no-hitter in his...
It happens all the time, Angel. Now, you see 4 or 5 pitchers sometimes with combined no-hitters, in a game. It's what's wrong. It's another thing that's wrong with Major League Baseball. It pisses people off. This has been going on now for like 5-6 years where they pull pitchers that have thrown less than 100 pitches, which somehow that number, 100 pitches through 5 innings, has become this analytic BS, be-all, end-all. I've got to take him out after 100 pitches. You got to be kidding me. Luis Tiant once threw like 180 pitches in a game back in the day. A guy that absolutely should be in the Hall of Fame. It's just crazy. But after the game, Angel, before we go to break, let's go to cut number 3. Lance Meadow on Mad Dog Radio goes off on Derek Shelton's decision.
Paul Skeens, who has been the talk of the town across the majors, we're talking about a guy that has been sensational through 11 starts. He has 7 no-hit innings today, and Derek Shelton, manager of the Pirates, pulls him. Here's a no-hitter, and you pull him with 2 innings to go. It doesn't make any sense at all to me, especially when he's not 40 years old. They don't bring him out to the mound in a wheelchair and then help him up. If you're going to tell me for a fact that if they put him out there for the 8th inning, let's say he throws 10 pitches, so he's up to 109, his arm's going to fall off? He's going to need Tommy John surgery next week?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to need UCL surgery? I mean, we're that confident? We're all experts in the arm throwing field that we know that 10 extra pitches in the early stages of July is going to do it in for him? I mean, that's kind of crazy. What is the purpose of playing professional sports if, once again, we got to put the kid gloves on? I don't understand that. It makes absolutely no sense. And if he has an opportunity, he's 2 innings away from a no-hitter, I think you should afford him the opportunity to finish that. Now, if he told the manager, I don't want to do it, that's fine. But right now we have no evidence or proof that he said that and he asked to come out. Shelton just said he looked tired. Well, guy that retired 16 batters in a row doesn't seem overly exhausted to me. Seems like a guy that's in pretty good rhythm and warrants an opportunity to finish what he started.
Gibbers.
Dead on, balls accurate, absolutely. That's how I feel. It's one thing if the pitcher goes to the manager and says, hey, I got nothing left. I give him like, a guy retired 16 in a row. You can't throw 10, 15 more pitches? Unbelievable. It's what's really bad about the game. All right, Angel, let's take a quick break. When we come back, a couple of videos to play for you, some NFL news to tell you about as well. And thanks everybody for checking us out. I know we're a little bit late today, but better late than never, right? And Angel did a great job getting us on the air. So thanks everybody for tuning in, checking out the show here until 10 a.m. Me, O'Brien, coming up at 9:05. Jerry Thornton, Barstool Sports at 9:30. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show right here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastow, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure.
All right. Well, I hate to interrupt our regular scheduled program, as once again, when I had to adjust things on the fly, the commercials decided they wanted to, do its thing.
Okay. Well, I have this for you.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
That's all right. All good, Angel. Welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. Once again, here in what usually is paradise, as we call down here in beautiful Southwest Florida, we have not seen the sun now. We're going on like just about 3 days because it's dark and gloomy, and it's going to be stormy and yucky out all day. We got beaches that are polluted down here, not Fort Myers Beach, but a few other ones. What was it, Lovers Key? and Bonita Beach, do not attempt to go. Well, it's a crappy day anyway, and it's going to be lightning, it seems like, all day anyway. But a couple of beaches down here this time of year, the water gets so hot and everything else. It gets this and Caloosahatchee River and all that nonsense, and it makes going to the beaches around here somewhat undesirable and stinky. Not Fort Myers Beach, but again, this is this is what happens this time of year down here, Angel. And I'm sure you guys getting some storms up there as well, or have been. I mean, we haven't seen the sun in 2.5 days. Rick says, "Good morning, Pete, Angel, and Cowboys fan Tim. Travel day for me to Philly later today. Isn't that nice?"
Sure is. It's good to make sure everybody just stays connected and they're fine and they're having a good time, the whole 9 yards. It's always a good time. So, listen. Hi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just one of those like woosahs, and just take a breath in a moment as continue justice things on the fly here to make things work. But no, we were supposed to get looking out the studio window. I got an alert. Well, two things. One is the weather. The other one reminded me about AT&T. So the weather, it's the first time, like you said, that we're actually getting the blue skies because we've had rain, which we've needed. I'm not
Well, I
complaining.
got no blue sky. We got no blue sky here, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It's supposed to storm here again all day, so we're going to go on 3 straight days of cloudiness and storminess. You got a little bit of sun right now. That's good.
Yeah, no, we've needed it because the rain. I mean, we've been in a super drought situation up this way, and we desperately need it. So it's a good thing that it's coming. And then while we were in our first segment there, AT&T decided, this came from NBC 10, the alert, that AT&T listen, and I tried not to get upset with these clowns, but when you hire people that you just hired, and I'm not even going to go into it just because you hired, then when millions upon millions of people lose all their info to people and their cell phones, AT&T basically gave away the farm where everyone's cell phone number was exposed, everyone's account was exposed, and if you owned a business, all your business lines were exposed as well. Yep, that's exactly it. Because it will make a lot of sense now where every stinking day on my personal cell phone, I'll get, hello, hey, do you remember me from dinner? When was the last time we spoke? Where have you been? Like, come on, man. So, yeah.
Signed Epstein's mother,
Exactly.
Those of you remember Welcome Back, Cotter. So you have AT&T. See, I have T-Mobile.
And it's okay because they're about to get hit too. And then not by a hack, meaning that the stuff that they've done in the past, that they're finally gonna have to come out. I used to be with T-Mobile until T-Mobile had this thing, and T-Mobile, if you want to come on as a sponsor, you want to grab me a brand new phone, maybe I'll think about it. But what T-Mobile used to do was, let's just say you wanted to switch your phone, right? So you had let's go back to the iPhone 12. And you wanted to upgrade to the iPhone 13. Now, mind you, you're already out of your contract period with the phone, so you've paid it off. But now you want a brand new phone, and they'll tell you, oh, no, you have to open up a new line if you want a brand new phone. Like, why do I have to add an additional line if I just want to take out my phone? And every time I went back for something else, I ended up with almost 6 lines with T-Mobile. And then finally, someone from T-Mobile with some kind of sense got back to me and they said, oh, by the way, that should have never happened. But really? Because apparently then that person must have been cleaning up some good commission. And then a few months later, there was an article out about people complaining that when they went to T-Mobile, and here all they wanted was a brand new phone, and they created like 6 or 7 lines in their account just to get that brand new phone. So all these carriers have their little gimmicks, this and that. I'm not complaining, folks. I'm just telling you the way it is. And the FCC should really be harsh about that one, because if anything, don't worry about the music people are playing. How about let's get through with all these wireless carriers that are supposed to be doing their due diligence and not allow people to hack and do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Well, the thing is that also, no matter what phone service you have, all these new deals that they come up with, and all of us who've been with one service or another for a long period of time, we don't get grandfathered in. We get nothing.
Nope.
It's like when you used to subscribe to Sports Illustrated, and I subscribed to that magazine for like 30 years. And I never got a phone. I never got a football. I never got, the little gadgety things that they give away for new subscriptions. Should they give those out to people that have been with them for at least a decade, or more, and give those, because the net cost of that shit is about 5 cents.
Yep.
If it's a hat or a phone, the SI phone that was shaped into like a football, I believe. I mean, it's outrageous.
It is.
Outrageous.
you hear people saying it's true because it's always like the small things, right? You would think I don't think we ask or demand for a lot of things, out of the ordinary, but it's the small little things that make it meaningful. Even if you don't want it, you give it away to somebody else. At least it was thoughtful enough for them to say, here you go.
Yeah, like coffee at the Super Bowl for when we get on the air. I mean, that would have been fun.
Yeah. Good luck with that one. Who knows what's going to happen? Hopefully, New Orleans will have it ready for us a week before the actual event.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, getting back to some sports here. I'm going to have you go on my Twitter page, Angel. I want to play a couple of videos. But first, some more stuff going on. We gave you the breakdown early about NFL. It's going to cost you, almost $700 to watch every single NFL game this year. We broke it down for you. I'll go back through that again later on. But True TV is now getting into the big-time sports world. Most of you know True TV is only really around March Madness. It was True TV, TBS, TNT, and CBS. Because all the time it's like, I can't find True TV. Just talking to you. Or go to, I mean, I hate the excuse of people say they can't find something in this day and age. Just go to search if you have to, or talking to your remote. But March Madness is usually the extent of True TV's big sports content. But hang on. Warner Brothers, Discovery want to change that. So now, get this, True TV, I just announced this, is going to add 1,000 hours of TNT sports content next year, including MLB, NHL, NASCAR, college sports, and a lot more. It's college basketball and football. So that is going to be, that's crazy. Not crazy, but it's just so much money out there. People are just throwing millions/billions of dollars out there for sports. It's amazing. Yep. And then we have this. This is how big the SEC network has become, the SEC conference, I should say. That Southwest Airlines just agreed to a new multi-year deal to become the official airline of the SEC. It's adding new routes and servicing several games, including USC and LSU and Vegas at the kickoff, speaking of Vegas. Bama at Wisconsin in week 3, and Tennessee at Oklahoma in week 4, and Georgia, Texas, week 8. It actually says on the departures, SEC country.
Oh, jeez. And it was
lots of money.
Did you happen to see the I think it was American Airlines, the Boeing that went to taxi?
Yes, I was going to ask you about that in Tampa yesterday. It was about to take off, and all the tires blew.
So the right side tires apparently decided to blow. I mean, listen, thank God, because they were on their way to Nevada. Of course, I
had the video of that, Angel. I tweeted it out last night, I believe.
Yeah.
If you scroll, actually, no, I don't. I thought I had. Do I? I thought I had it, but that was frightening. No, I don't have it. I thought I did.
Yep, it was friggin'. It was nuts, but it was once again. It's. And they were getting ready to take off. I mean, listen, good thing it was before takeoff. A better thing was that the pilots noticed it, because if they would have taken off, could you just imagine that not only did you hear that sound, but now you're up in the air, you have to come right back down. It's not like you can fly all the way to Nevada. So the pilot noticed, he quickly slowed it down. Obviously the other planes that were behind them had waited until it was clear. And then eventually they had the fire rescue go out there and put the fire out and get everybody out. But listen, it's getting, and again, I'm not trying to put the fear in God on anybody, but it's getting a little more worrisome, because it was just not too long ago too, where a pilot had talked about that one of the panels on the plane, as they were banking left, because you know that either as you're leaving and heading up, you bank right or left as you're now heading to the route in the sky to where you have to go to. So they were making the approach into the airport, and as they banked left, one of the panels came off. Now, for those who don't know, if one or two of those panels come off, understand as you are on an angle here, and if one of these panels end up coming off and a couple, that throws a wind shear off, and basically you're doing one of these numbers where you're almost at a complete 90 before that pilot can make that come leveled and get themselves down. So there's a lot of questions for a lot of folks down here in DC that have no answers for us, but they're waiting. How long are we going to wait before something dramatically happens? And they turn around and say that enough's enough, because Boeing is getting sued. But Boeing basically came out. This is the other thing too, where they came out the other day on TV and they said, listen, Mr. Sheppard, we understand your concerns. We're sorry. And let's move on. It's insane.
Well, hopefully we don't. Hopefully, that pilot saved a lot of lives by doing what he did. I'm sure it was because I don't think anybody got hurt, right, or
No,
seriously hurt.
nobody did.
Yeah, that's great. All right, moving on once again. Let's see a couple things before I have Angel play a couple of videos, and then meet O'Brien at 9:05 a.m. And she was on a big fishing expedition the other day, so I can't wait to find out how she did. Bill Sparrows had this today, our buddy from the Boston Herald and senior betting analyst at bookies.com. But there's going to be a new stadium for the New England Revolution. Speaking of soccer. The economic investment bill that could lead the way for the Revolution Stadium in Everett, Massachusetts, has passed the state Senate by a 40-0 vote. The stadium provision heads for a conference with the House, which did not approve it this year. The session ends July 31st. The problem with this new stadium in this part of Massachusetts, which is, it's technically about, 5-6 miles from Fenway, but it's not the point. You can't get to this thing. It's like the closest T stop, the subway there is about a 20-minute walk. The parking sucks, and you can't get there. It'll be a disaster. Even if 20,000 people showed up, it would be a freaking disaster. But good luck. More traffic in downtown Boston and Everett. I mean, that'll be backed up for miles. But
who originally played there, Pete?
The what?
Who originally played there?
Nobody. They're going to build a stadium. They're going to build a new stadium in Everett for the New England Revolution.
So the picture I'm looking at, is that that's what they wanted?
That's the proposed where it's going to be.
Oh, okay.
And because right now they're playing Foxborough at Gillette.
Okay. All right.
That's where they've always played. So anyway, if we could scroll down a little bit, it's a ways. By the way, it's Jesus. Where the hell? Okay. Yes, it's Adam Schefter, and this is if we can play the video. Bill Belichick is going to have a new job. He's going to be back inside the NFL this year, which airs on the CW, and they just had their trailer come out the other night. And it's right below Tyreek Hill, which we'll get to in a second, Angel, because he's extended his family yet again, which we'll tell you about in a second.
All right.
Okay, awesome. This is the trailer for the new Inside the NFL on the CW. Remember, this used to be on HBO.
Let's go. Hold on, because now since this is going to be fun.
Yeah, having a hard time?
I got two things. Hang on. I might have to switch myself out real quick.
Okay.
Because of the way, just because of the way the windows were set up. But I'll have to switch myself.
Okay.
Out. All right. Because the way I have it set up, it didn't allow me to do the sharing. So let me.
Okay. All right.
Let me do the magical press.
Yeah. So everybody has a CW on their basic cable. So I think so. You should be able to see Inside the NFL, which I always loved that show back in the day. See if Angel has reemerged. There he is. I see Angel.
All right. As soon as it unfreezes me. Because there we go. There's the movement. All right. There's the movement. Okay. Let's see if I can try this again, which I have to look on an angle here. Share it. Oops. Hold on. I want to make sure I get on the right screen. This is always the fun part. There we go. And here. Is where sometimes the behind the scenes stuff that you guys don't get to see, it happens. But all right. Hopefully, if it tends to lag, folks, as I said, I had the temporarily band-aid situation over here, but we'll see as we switch over to the screen here.
All right.
And let's try give it a go.
All right.
It's almost time for season 2 of Inside the NFL on CW. I'm back as the host.
Ryan Clark has been huge all season long.
And we've got Chris.
We got him for 60 minutes, man. Lock the gates. Let's go.
And of course, Ocho Cinco.
Well, you gonna kiss the baby today.
But still, there's room for one more. Who could they be thinking of?
Hey, Two-Tone. Enough with the voiceover. Just tell them when the show's on.
I love my suit. But I got you, Coach. Starting August 30th, catch me, Chris Long, Chad Johnson, and the one and only Bill Belichick. Only on the CW.
Guess I'll need a new wardrobe.
Might as well, because I got another video I want you to play, Angel. But you can hear me right and everything. So that's going to be a hell of a. That's going to be great. I love all those guys. I love, and I know that Belichick and Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson, have a huge amount of respect. I mean, they loved each other from the get-go, from way back. So that'll be that'll be a good show. I always enjoyed that, even before. When there was Phil Simms and others, Brown and everything else on HBO back in the day. Meanwhile, the ESPYs happened last night too, Angel, but I want to scroll back up and give you another NFL update. Tyreek Hill, before I get to another video, and that's not it. Well, you could see it. Tyreek Hill has been ruled the father of yet another child by the Florida court. This just weeks, everybody, after he's announced that his wife is expecting a child. Now, this tweet by Dobbs says he has 10 plus children. I found out doing extensive research that, Angel, he is the father of at least 2 more. So he's got 12 bambinos. 12.
Lord.
Not fun for the whole family. What's that Thanksgiving and Christmas going to be like?
Was it Gary Payton?
Yes.
The supersonic
Yes.
that had like some 40 babies or something ridiculous?
No, he had like 9. I know it was Gary Payton, but what's his name? The other guy had 9 or 10, but 12. Your wife's expecting, and then you had another baby mom. And just that's got to be. I wonder what that conversation was like. Yeah. No wonder he's going to sign. No wonder he needs a contract extension. Yeah. And if we could play the video that we played yesterday, because we have an update from Colin Rugg right above that about Gary Miles. And we didn't know his name yesterday, but now we do. We'll play the video again in case you missed it. It is Angel's people in Philadelphia, a dollar store, Angel, that you succinctly said you are definitely familiar with.
Yep.
Where this happened. You knew exactly where this incident happened. So let's play the video and then we'll give you an update.
Look, he fucking nutted on my fucking leg! You go to hell, bitch! Oh my god! He nutted on my leg! He nutted on my leg! Look, he fucking nutted on my fucking leg!
And then what makes it
sure it's not going to lick itself.
Good Lord.
People, what is wrong with people? Those are your people in Philly.
Mm.
You knew exactly where this was in 95. You broke it down yesterday. You knew the overpass and everything else. And,
Way before the story, before he gave an update to this guy, well, you're about to say, but yeah, that's why as soon as I got it, I ended up sending it to you because I knew exactly where the hell it was. Oh man, yeah. I don't understand.
So, it was at a Dollar Tree store in Philly, and Gary Miles got arrested. And the update comes after rapper Meek Mill offered $2,000 for information on the suspect after the video of the incident went viral. Thanks to us. Jesus, it's just unbelievable.
And it's, you always hear stuff like you can't make this stuff up. Literally, you can't make this stuff up. How in the world do you wear a T-shirt, walk into the dollar store, and then do something like that? And then you run away like, come on, bro. Like, what the hell are you thinking? But this is the things that we're dealing with today.
People are mentally challenged. And if you scroll up, there's another Tyreek Hill. So there's another update that I have. So the Florida judge ruled that Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins, the father of another child, a baby girl. He reportedly has over 12 children. It's his 5th one so far this year. He's got 5 kids in 1 year, just weeks after he'll announce his wife is expecting. How do you deal with that?
That's insane.
How?
That's insane. I told you, it's just like the guy that from, I don't know if Tim's listening today or not, from the 90 Day the Other Way or some crap like that, where he claims he's slept with 2,500 women, and then the girl moves out there because he's supposed to get married to her, and then she, in return, she's like, I'm not going to get together with this guy. And the big immaturity in between it all is that he saves all the bottles that he has drinks with these women, right? Like almost like a trophy case of empty bottles. So she brings his 143-page letter with this from years ago. The kid was like 14 or 15 years old, maybe 16, and was madly in love with her. She's like, if you don't throw away your bottles, I'm going to show you what this kid wrote. And what do you think the guy was going to do? He ended up taking it, threw it, and the papers went flying. Like, you guys are just silly. But anyway.
All right, let's take a quick break because Mia O'Brien is going to join us. And I told her we're going to discuss her fishing trip, not only the Jacksonville Jaguars, but her fishing trip. And we're going to discuss hyphens, like Josh Hines Allen has now got a hyphen in his name. So we'll get her thoughts on that. I told Mia she should get a hyphen at some point too. Well, we'll see. Mia O'Brien from 1010XL and the Helmets and Heels Show is going to join us next here on the Pete Sheppard Show. In a few minutes, quick break here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Eye on Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, eyontp.com. Eye on Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Eye on Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family. If it's dysfunctional.
Back here, it's hour number 3, the Pete Sheppard Show on a Freaky Friday. It is the 12th of July already. The phone number here is 727-858-6650. Mia O'Brien set to join us in just a couple of minutes. Haven't spoken to her in a couple of weeks. Be good to see and catch up with her a little bit on the Jacksonville Jaguars, amongst other things, and everything else that's going on in the NFL. Thanks, everybody, for listening on the Coastal Sports Network video platform. Following me on Twitter X at pshep326, on my Facebook and Broad Street South Facebook pages, YouTube, Ion TV, we're powered by them, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, and of course, Sports Radio 102.9. Awesome webpage, awesome app, as I do the show from the Isola della Cucina here, my beautiful kitchen island in Fort Myers, where the sun has not come out in 3 days. Three. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Angel Martinez is on hand, exec producer and host extraordinaire. Your show will be back on Monday, Martinez Company from 10 to noon. Middays with Q, though, still today, right? Noon to 2 p.m. Doing a great job.
Yes, we should be on because now that I did this temporary fix, we'll be on. So you guys will be able to hear. It was funny because yesterday it was just after, apparently it happened after you went off, and not as far as, let me explain things, folks. Not if Pete went off as an end.
It says it's signed off.
Yes, as you signed off. Then apparently there was an update that happened in between, and that's when it happened. And I thought because on the app it was just fine, but for some reason it was just in between the social medias, and so I thought I had fixed it. Apparently we found out this morning, so the temporary fix is in. So yes, Q should be on today from 12 to 1. And then next week, everybody should be back at the normally scheduled hours, normally scheduled programs, and all that good happy horse stuff.
Okay. So 12 to 1, not 12 to 2?
Yeah, today's 12 to 1.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All righty. And me will be joining us in just a little bit. And again, thanks, Angel. Doing a great job. 727-858-6650 is the number to call. Or text the show. And Mia's going to be joining us only by phone because she's driving today, unlike Bill Burt, who was driving and speaking illegally, but that's Bill, yesterday through the rough city of North Andover, Massachusetts, on his way to a funeral. But Mia's going to join us by phone. But Jerry Thornton will join us from Barstool Sports. Angel, at the bottom of the hour, he will be via video. And I can't wait to see that because Jerry is like into not just great sports writer and everything else, but we usually talk about the trials and tribulations of the planet. I got to get his thoughts on what happened in the retrial up there, and also our friend in Philadelphia, your friend and mine, the one and only, what's his name? Brad, what's his freaking name down? What the hell is it? Gary Miles. He's the one that got arrested in Philadelphia for
looting
ungodly act on that poor lady. Anyway, her reaction though, come on, man, that's funny. It's sad, but I mean,
It is. No,
I bet she sounded like that she got her leg chopped off, but I mean, she's just like, and I just, the whole thing to me is, it's sad, but funny. The reaction was funny, and you can sit there and people can say it, fake laughing. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Don't get me wrong, but it went viral. It's funny. Anyway.
No, you're right to an extent there, because it's, at first I didn't know what to expect, because when the guy ran out, I just thought it was, like usual. You see people running out the store and they were shoplifting or something else until, until it happened. But oh, hang on, this could be Miss O'Brien right here.
All right.
Hello, Mia.
Hey, Mia. Good morning. How are you?
Can Mia hear us? Mia? Hang on.
Mia, are you there? I hear something.
I do too. I hear noise. Mia? Mia, can you hear us?
Mia, can you hear me?
Mia, can you hear us? Good. Hold on. For some reason, when I switched it over to the board.
You have to refresh. Hang on, Mia.
Hang on. Let's see if we can hear her now through the board. Maybe not. And again, because I switched things over. Hold on.
Oh, Mia, are you there? Can you hear us?
She can. If I put her up, if I threw her up, yeah. Hold on, because Mia, let me see if I can call you right back. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me call her right back, because I don't know why in the world it didn't come through. Normally you can hear it ring and everything.
I kind of just heard her in the background there, but that was okay.
All right. Let me give her a call back and see if we get her this time around. Because I didn't hear it through the headset. Maybe we can. Let's see. Maybe now we can hear it.
All right, let's give that a whirl.
There you are.
There we go. Perfect. Well, the first number I called, it asked me to leave a voicemail.
Oh, geez.
Wow, that shouldn't have happened.
I told you that was the AT&T thing.
Oh yeah, that was he had an AT&T issue with the with life in general the other day. But thanks for taking a few minutes. How you doing?
Doing well. How about you guys?
Good. 15.19 pounds, second place finish for you at a kingfish. How did you do that?
Yeah, so I would say, because it's my third year, third time's the charm. Year one, being a participant in the ViStar Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. That would have been the 42nd annual at that media day. I caught a barracuda. Last year, we caught a ton of kingfish, but none bigger than about 10 pounds. And so, hey, I've been building towards this moment, been training for it. And by training, I mean the one day of the year that I get out on the water. I actually was very lucky, because for a while there, of the about 10 boats that we had out on the water, I was the only one who caught anything. So that was when I was like, ooh, okay, I may win by default here. But edged out the third place finisher by 0.01. And so a shout out to Captain Steve for telling me how to properly weigh the fish in, because otherwise I think they had me at 15.16. And so I wouldn't have actually taken home a prize.
Now, I would have voted that at least in the top 3 of ESPN Sports Center, top plays. Easily, you should have been in the top 3. Why didn't you? Why I should submit the video, because you deserve to be on that list.
Yeah, it was, honestly, like, as I'm reeling it in, of course, these captains, these guys, they're all used to reeling in, like, fish that are 20, 30, 40, even last year, the record, 57 pounds here in Jacksonville at the ViStar Greater Jacksonville Tournament, Kingfish Tournament. And so, as I'm struggling, they're kind of, like, chuckling. But I had to have, I was like, hey, can someone so one of the professional guys came over and helped me a little bit, and he was struggling with it. So we lost the first one. We actually got a bite earlier on, but that guy bit through the ribbon fish. So we were very excited to haul that guy in as the first catch of the day. And he proved to be, the only kingfish that I caught on Wednesday. I did catch a Spanish mackerel, and that's when you knew the difference between the two fish, because that little bugger was probably about 4 or 5 pounds. And I'm like, why is this so easy? Just reeling. There's about a 10-pound difference there.
Spanish mackerel. That's outstanding. I love mackerel. I've had mackerel a few times. I don't know if I've ever had Spanish mackerel, but that's interesting stuff.
Apparently their teeth are even more fierce. So I didn't know
Oh.
that until we flipped him onto the boat, and the captain was like, "Yeah, no, don't go near that guy. You can hold him from his tail."
Go ahead, Andrew. You going to say something?
No, I said it was going to be like a spicy meatball, because the little Latinos, we have the little spice. So that's what I was my sarcastic joke about. But no, I didn't even know that. That's good to know, me about the teeth. I would have had not a clue.
Yeah.
It was definitely. You learn something new every day. I feel like every year that I do this event, I'm like learning something new about the world and the ocean that we all love and adore here on the Atlantic seaboard.
All right, let's get down to business here. Are you making your way down to Miami on the 8th of September for the Jags Miami opening game? Will you be down here for that by chance?
We are still finalizing that, so I don't want to speak out of turn. My guess is yes. We do have technically two reporters, I should say, and we split the road trips. It sounds like, I sent a pitch in this week. I'll be honest with you. Like, I sent a pitch in this week that we should both go, since it is relatively driving distance, even if that includes the I-95 drive from hell. And so, my hope is yes. My hope is yes, but I don't want to speak out of turn.
Okay. Well, I will speak out of turn. Your company needs to bring at least 12 people down here. And you know where I'm going with this. That's one for each of that's one for each of Tyreek Hill's kids that you have to cover. He now has 12. I don't know if you saw the story today. His wife is pregnant. His another baby mama just had number 10. Apparently he has at least 12 children now. So that could take up a whole section at Hard Rock when you get down there. So I wanted you to be prepared. When you come down here, the extended family of Tyreek Hill, that could be a whole story in itself. He may have 5 more kids before you get down here on September 8th. I don't know.
Well, I saw so it was interesting the way that the headline was phrased, Pete, because it said that a judge has ruled that, he has this 10th or 12th child, whatever it was. And and it sounded as if he was the one who was trying to prove the child was his. I would assume it's the mother trying to gain child support, but hey, maybe he just there's that new documentary out there on Netflix, The Man with 1,000 Children. So maybe he's coming for that guy's record.
Unbelievable. Well, I texted you yesterday as well. Eventually, I don't know if you'll have a hyphen in your name if you ever get married, or maybe you want to invent a hyphen. But this whole thing with we can't call him Josh Allen anymore. We have to call him Josh Hines Allen, the outstanding defensive end that you guys have up there for Jacksonville. What do you think of this whole story? I know he was on Rich Eisen's show yesterday. I only caught a little bit of it. What do you think of that whole situation? It's kind of a fun story.
Yeah, no, it's for sure a fun story. I consider myself lucky that Josh and I have kind of had this weird trajectory of sorts where we were kind of running parallel to each other. And then, of course, have spent the better part of the last 6 years both here in Jacksonville. He's also a native of New Jersey. He actually is from my dad's hometown. My grandpa used to go watch him at Montclair High School his senior year. And then, of course, would tell me oh, yeah, this kid's going to Kentucky. And, I'm a kid. I had just graduated from Ithaca and was in Iowa. I didn't know who this kid was. Lo and behold, I actually interviewed for a job in Kentucky once upon a time, declined it, instead ended up here in Jacksonville. And lo and behold, a year later, so did Josh. And so we've had this very unique friendship of sorts. And throughout that, he is so proud of not only his 4 sisters, 3 of whom were excellent basketball players in the state of New Jersey, 2 of them McDonald's All-Americans. But he's extremely proud of what his mom was able to do. His dad really wasn't around a ton during Josh's childhood. He is, same father for all 6 children. But interestingly enough, all 4 girls go by Hines Allen, as does his mom, and he and his twin brother do not. And it's something that Josh has been very vocal about, because he always refers to his sisters. He doesn't even just say their first name. He says Maisha Hines Allen. He's very proud of that last name, and rightfully so, because his mom's side of the family, the lineage in terms of athletes is just incredible. Her brother is in the College Basketball Hall of Fame. There's a couple other McDonald's All-Americans on the basketball side, a lot of whom played at Hampton University down in Virginia, where Josh's mom has roots. And so this is something that he's actually hinted at. I went back and I found the excerpt from Eric Armstead's Third and Long podcast interview with Josh back in the spring. And Josh actually kind of like hinted that this was coming, because he said, we're going to figure something out, because my brother and I, it's kind of weird that, we're Allens, but they're all Heinz Allen. And so I think this is something that it's a point of pride for him, having just gotten this contract. Generational wealth is something he speaks about all the time. And I think it's a homage to his family as much as it is anything, which credit to him. I think it's honestly not that far out of the realm of Joe Tryon Shoyinka down in Tampa. The Darius Shaq Leonard thing, I'm not as familiar with that, but I think that was kind of something similar with family. But this one is definitely paying homage to his mom, his sisters, and that maternal side of his family.
Do you think he still would have done this even if Josh Allen was not the Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills? Do you think he would have done this? Do you think that had anything to do with it at all? Because people, you put their names up and Josh Allen.
Yeah. I think this is truly something that, this is bugged at him. Not bugged him, because that sounds like a negative, but it's something that I think has gnawed at him for a long time. And I think it's something that he's wanted to do. And, he just felt like he had the time, and his name, at this point in time, it's one of those things where not only would he have done this even if he wasn't a all-pro caliber outside linebacker defensive end, I think he would have done this regardless, as he's, approaching his late 20s. He has 3 young children. Obviously, I think they're changing their names too. So I think that this is something that he would have done whether he got the big payday, whether Josh Allen in Buffalo existed or not. This is something that I think is a lot deeper than just football.
Yeah, again, Mia O'Brien joining us from 1010XL and Helmets and Heels. So training camp about to open up next week, correct? And that's, we're almost there, just a few Sundays away. You're excited?
Yeah, actually 2 weeks away, so a little less than 2 weeks away. The Jags will report on Tuesday the 23rd. They'll open camp on the 24th. Next week, though, you're right, Pete, the fun does start, because I will be in Dallas for SEC Media Days. And so talking season began in earnest this week out in Las Vegas with both, yes, I will say both, the Big 12 and the Pac-2 Media Days. And so excited to join the circus next week.
Hey, I wanted to ask you about that. That's great. So definitely, can we get a hold of you next week? Because that'll definitely be whatever day and time is good for you. You let me know, because definitely want to have you on from down there.
Yes, we're flying in Monday night this year. Georgia will speak on Tuesday, and then Florida speaks on Wednesday, and we don't fly out till Thursday night.
Okay, well, we'll definitely set up a time and place. Speaking of the Big 12 in Vegas, everything's happening in Vegas, it seems lately. Except we couldn't get coffee during Super Bowl week at 6 o'clock in the morning. But I digress. But besides, what did you think of Mike Gundy and how he handled that situation? What was going on out there with his player being arrested for it? He kind of nonchalanted it, which I thought was a bad look for him.
The funny part about it, Pete, was the first comment that he made was that when he was asked, why is Ollie here despite the DUI 2 weeks ago, he said, number one, I wanted Ollie to be here because I think the bigger punishment is he has to talk to all of you and he has to address what happened. And I gave him the option, and he agreed with me that he should be here. And when I first heard that comment in my office, Taylor Dahl, my co-host on Helmets and Heels, and she read it aloud to me, and we both looked at each other and said, "Good for Gundy." Like that actually, it's a throwback. Like that's what parents, educators, coaches, like that's what you should be trying to teach your young people in 2024, to take accountability and force them into the spotlight so that they have to face the music. And I was so happy to hear that. And then of course, as only Mike Gundy can do, he somehow said everything he's thinking in his head aloud. And somehow something that we were all going to say, good job by Gundy, it inevitably turned into great content for us, but content that nonetheless does not exactly put Stillwater, Oklahoma in the best light. The joke here in Jacksonville, like I said it, I'm not afraid to say it on air, but you hear that, and you can't help but think, oh, that's right, Justin Blackmon was drinking at every watering hole in Stillwater once upon a time and also was arrested for a DUI, but magically these things went gets swept under the rug, and he was somehow drafted in the first round by the Jacksonville Jaguars and barely played a full season when all was said and done in the National Football League. And so, there's jokes to be made there too, but obviously it's not a good look for Gundy. It's not a good look for Ollie. But is he a guy that I still am going to pencil in as another potential top 10 Heisman vote getter? Absolutely, because I do think that conference is as wide open as it's ever been. And obviously that is because of Texas and Oklahoma's departure, but also because I think the playing field is pretty darn level right now across the board.
No question. No question about it. Well, the Tennessee Titans made an interesting move. Any thoughts about that? And this is going to be such a fascinating division to me this year, Mia. And like I said, I'm picking Trevor Lawrence to be in the MVP hunt. I think he's going to be in the top 3. I think he's going to have a massive chip on his shoulder in a big time bounce back year. But the Titans reaching that agreement with Adams. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think the Titans are first team all name. I'm going to put first place in the division in terms of getting aging superstars who are household names. And that's not only from me, by the way. That's from Buck Rising at 104.5 The Zone in Nashville, who I trust. He's essentially my counterpart up in my equal, if you may, up in Nashville. He runs all their multimedia, and he's their noontime host. And Buck is connected as anybody to that organization, and he said it's going to be a team-friendly deal. It's, I think, essentially going to be like, a 1-year contract if it wasn't already stated as much. And so, look, I mean, is it a life raft? Sure. Is it a splash name? Yes. Can he actually provide that much? Unknown. I think the bigger question, Mark, and Buck addressed this on A to Z Sports, and this, of course, hits close to home for me, is that I think Amani Hooker is one of the more ascending nickel slot star corners, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just curious what this means for his role in Denard Wilson's defense, because I think he's a hell of a player. I think he's in his prime right now. And are you going to try to plug Adams in at that spot, or are you going to have him try to play center field? Because I don't think he can play center field at this point in his career. Out of the box, maybe, possibly, but he also hasn't played a full season since 2019. And so for me, it's depth at the end of the day. It's not quite a camp body. I think he makes the 53-man roster, but I think it just goes back into the pantheon of the DeAndre Hopkins, Randy Moss, Julio Jones, and now Calvin Ridley's of the world, where the Tennessee Titans, man, they love to go out and get the big name, even if the big name hasn't been a big player in 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, and you go back to the Seahawks, what they gave up, when they got him from the Jets, and they're still reeling from that craziness that happened with the 2 first-round picks and 4-year, $70 million extension, and then I don't know. It just I don't know if that organization is going to recover for quite some time after that deal. That was a mess. You're still there, Mia, right?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay. I think when last we spoke, I don't think Trevor Lawrence had signed his deal yet, the $278 million deal. And the reason why I bring it up, I think we were talking about it then. I really thought that contract was going to affect how the Miami Dolphins are going to approach Tua. And, when you break down the numbers, which I did a couple of weeks ago on the show, do I think Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa? Part of me does. But if you're looking strictly at the numbers, Tua's numbers are just as good and better in a lot of categories. So I'm still wondering what Stephen Ross is going to do. Or, I know he wants to combine. I know he wants to combine Tua and Tyreek Hill. They're talking about he wants, contract extension for both of them. So they're both, basically going to be with the Dolphins for, for at least several more years. But you got to figure Tua's going to at least want Trevor Lawrence money at the very least.
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked. Like, I assumed once Trevor's contract was announced that it was going to be a domino effect. It was going to be either Tua or Dak, a race to get either or both of those done, because I think that the Packers are going to pay Jordan Love top of the line money. I believe they will make him the highest paid player in the National Football League, which hey, listen, he looked great last year. I mean, but who's to say if he doesn't face a similar road that Trevor Lawrence did this year in his 3rd year in the National Football League, in his 2nd year with Doug Peterson, that we're suddenly to be questioning that bottom line for Jordan Love. And I obviously don't root for that, because I do think he's a great player. Do I think he's deserving of being the highest paid player in the league? No, but I think he would be next in line. And so, I think that heaven forbid they're to get that deal done up in Wisconsin before Stephen Ross gets a deal done with Tua Tagovailoa. That's only going to drive the bottom line up for Tua. And I think that's where then you face a stalemate. And I'm not familiar enough with Miami. I know that Trent Baalke here does not do deals during the season. And so, I mean, if they want to drag this into the year, okay. Trent's against it only because he believes the players want to play and he wants to focus on building the roster and fortifying it whichever way he can. And so that's where if that becomes a distraction into the season, then my God, like this is going to turn into Lamar Jackson 2.0.
Absolutely. Mia, you thanks so much for taking a few minutes. I know you've got your show on 1010XL and Helmets and Heels coming up and lots of other things. What else do you need to plug before we let you go?
Not much outside of we will be, of course, at SEC Media Days next week in Dallas. So you can follow all of our coverage at 1010XL on X, at 1010XLJax on Instagram, at 1010XL on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, of course, our YouTube family with our Gators channel, our Knowles channel, and our Jags channel. And so we will be keeping you abreast of the very latest out there with interviews with Billy Napier, Kirby Smart, and so much more.
And tell our good friend Paul Feinbaum he needs to have you on his show. I want to see you next week in the afternoon after this show. He better have you on.
I'll do what I can. I have actually only met Paul like briefly once. But hey, if you want to put a good word in, Pete, I won't say no.
I will do that. I will do that for you. He's a great guy.
Who know college far better than me that'll be on site. Not that I don't, not that I'm not obviously in the loop when it comes to college football, but if he wants to talk Jags or NFL, I'm here for you, Paul.
All right, Mia. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week from the SEC Media Day. You're the best.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend, boys.
All right. Thanks a lot. All right. Quick break because Jerry Thornton is going to be coming on with us via video after this quick break. Jerry Thornton from Barstool Sports coming up next here on the Pete Sheppard Show right here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Oh, give me a second.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt, watching my nieces grow.
All right. I'm just going to bring some filler time back in here, let Pete take his break. And Jerry's with us. So we see him there in the green room. So we'll be on with Jerry here in a second. Unfortunately, because again, things are done here on the fly. We had to adjust a couple things. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Don't forget to download the all-new sports radio app on SR1029thegame.com. again, as you fix things here on the fly, sometimes things just do their own things, and we just try to do our best to make sure we work kind of through the deals. But we do have, which as soon as Pete can hear me.
Oh, what happened? I thought I saw 3 minutes left of commercials.
No, it was, but unfortunately, it was freezing up. So rather than people going through the
What
painstaking,
happened? I can't hear. What can you hear? What did I do?
nothing. It's probably just
There you go. That was on my end. I hit the mute button. Oh, I thought I had 3 minutes of commercials left.
no, we did, but unfortunately, because it started to freeze up, rather than having everybody kind of paint.
Oh, okay. My bad. Hey, Jerry Thorne's in the house.
Yeah, give me.
Hang on, we're going to transfer processing.
Yeah,
we're going to transfer you over. We've got to do some mixing and matching today and that kind of crap. You know how it goes, Jerry, with these.
And
you know, you young whippersnappers with your Rubik's cubes and your etch-a-sketches. It's out of control. Like my shirt.
Very nice. That's fantastic. I've got the Fellowship of the Ring, so we're really showing how cool we are.
Nice. Jerry Thornton from Barstool Sports is with us. How have you been? There's so much to discuss, and we only have like 20 minutes or so. But my God, the craziness that is going on in the not just the world of sports with the Red Sox and everything else. We got people in Philadelphia, relieving themselves on a woman's leg, robbing a store, and then getting caught. I don't know if you saw that video at the dollar store in Philadelphia. This is also, we got Tyreek Hill, has a small village for a family, up to 12 kids, and he has his own section now at Hard Rock. So
I know.
I don't know where to begin. What's more bizarre the last few days?
Oh yeah, and I will just briefly touch on the guy in the store in Philadelphia. And okay, that's wrong all day long. Not enough bad things can happen to this guy. Let justice be done here. At the same time, I kind of admire the guy's focus. Like in the middle of a store, I don't know about you, but if I'm at like a bank of urinals and there's a guy on either side of me, I have a hard time focusing on just no matter how bad I have to go. My friends and I call this Fenway Park syndrome because if you remember back in the day,
the troughs.
Yes, they had like a horse trough. Basically, it was like peeing into a bathtub. And when you don't start a stream right away, and you'll think the guys next to you are noticing that you don't have a stream, so now you're in your own headspace or whatever. How in the middle of a store this guy could focus on that? Again, not admirable what he did, but at the same time, you have to kind of give credit where it's due for his ability to stick with the task. We could use that kind of determination in our nation's leaders right now, because that's also sorely lacking. Holy cow.
We have leaders? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. And I almost feel bad for like sports or entertainment right now, because nothing that they're coming up with, as much as there's some really good things, and Caitlin Clark is really exciting, and Hard Knocks has started. So there's a lot there for sports fans, for just fans of pop culture. But nothing is as entertaining as what's happening on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm utterly fascinated by how this is all working. I think the last time I talked to you was before the debate, and we all sat there with our jaws open, just going,
I told you were going to get 2 days worth of material at least for your show.
Yeah, and that was 3.5 weeks, 3 weeks ago as of yesterday. And you know what? We've all seen an elderly relative sort of lose their fastball a little bit, and it's a delicate dance, like when you right now, though, the country's being led, the nuclear codes are being held by a guy that you wouldn't let him keep his car keys. You know what I mean? Like every time he talks, I want to go, here's a piece of paper, here's a pencil. Can you draw a clock? Okay, now put the hands on the clock and just see how it goes. And you know what? And then we're having this debate about whether or not he can run for office, but no one's going, whoa, time out. He's actually in office. If he can't run for it, how can he hold it? And I'm to get serious for a second. As we speak, he could order young men into battle right now. And no one's talking about that. They're talking about, well, really love Joe. He's, really respect Joe, but can he, George Clooney has suddenly discovered that this guy might not have his faculties. Well, where you been since you figured that out? You've been sitting on your hands, George. That's
It's good. I agree. You saw the stuff.
Would Danny Ocean do this, George? Would Danny Ocean do this? He would figure out a way to get him out of there, and he would put together an eclectic group of eccentric geniuses to do it. But I have this weird subgenre of movies that I really like, and it's the ones where men shout at each other about regulations. Like Denzel Washington telling Gene Hackman, "Sir, under article, I hereby relieve you of duty. You do not have the authority, master of the watch." None of that's going on. It's all just like other old people deciding if this other old person is okay or if he should be allowed to run against yet another old person. To all you Gen Zs and Gen Xs and Zoomers and stuff, this is the boomer's gift to you. All we've done is yammer on about how we want to make a better world, leave it better than we left it for our children and our grandchildren. Clinton was the first boomer elected. He was born in 1946. He was elected in 1992. By the end of the next term, this generation will have been running this country for 36 years. Yeah, thank you. And we're all going to die rich. So congrats to you guys.
It's funny about how you reference that movement. Of course, it harkens me back to Star Trek when Commodore Decker was aboard the Enterprise while Captain Kirk was aboard his other ship, and they wanted, and he was ready to go after that big, gigantic thing.
Do you mean the Planet Killer episode, Pete?
The Planet Killer, and Kirk goes, "What the heck's going on up there?" He's like, "You are relieved." He's like, Spock says, "You were Commodore Decker. You are relieved. You don't have the authority to relieve me."
I love it. I love it so much. Kirk and Scotty are alone on the damaged ship, on Decker's ship that's barely functioning. And Kirk just randomly just says, "If only I had some phasers." And Scotty, who is my all-time favorite, goes, "Phasers, you got them. I recharged the banks an hour ago." And he goes, "Scotty, you just earned your pay for the week." I love that crap. And that's how this drama should be played out. Okay, if the two of them want to decide it with 18 holes of golf, like in Goldfinger, I'm fine for that. That would be cool too. I think they'd both try to cheat. Yeah. But if it's not that, then let's have a courtroom drama. Let's get Tom Cruise and Nicholson. Let's have people shout regulations at each other. Kane mutiny, mutiny on the Bounty, Breaker Morant. Believe me, we're not shouting enough military regulations at each other. If I have my way, by God, this thing's going to play out on live TV. It's going to be the greatest miniseries of all time.
Commander Galloway, if you ever talk to one of my clients, you can call me Joe. Joe, if you ever talk to one of my clients again without me being there, I'll have you disbarred. Friends?
So good.
Speaking of courtroom drama, the Reed thing, I wanted to get your reaction. And also, did you see Alec Baldwin walk out when he was starting to be accused? He walked out. Now, you've been in situations like that. What did the judges say? Where the fuck are you going? You're in contempt right now. Unless he's shitting his pants. He can't. How did he get away with that?
Right. You know what? And what would happen is a judge would look at me and go, "Oh," and I would go and stop that guy at the door. And then you, if necessary, you put cuffs on him, and then you take him into custody and you fill out a complaint or whatever. But he's acting like he's back on the set of Malice or something.
That was an underrated movie, by the way. That's an underrated movie.
I don't know that I've ever actually watched it all the way through, but that scene where he's talking down to the lawyer is absolutely. First of all, he's a fantastic actor, and back in the day before he grew that Easter Island head, he was a handsome man. Like, holy cow, you go back to like Beetlejuice and you go, what? Look at this guy's a dreamboat. And of course, when he was in one of my favorite all-time movies, Hunt for Red October. But and that one where he's just saying to the guy, "I'm board certified at 7 different hospitals. you know,
I-
and I've
and then
never
he's like-
lost it. Yeah.
And then he says, then he makes that speech and he goes, "Let me tell you something. When I'm on that opera, because he was a surgeon and he dealt with usually women's insides and stuff, and he goes, when I'm operating, I'm at that table. I am God."
Yes,
It's just like
exactly.
sent
So
chills through you.
you can go to church and pray, and you can hope that you win the raffle. But
Yeah.
when you're praying to God, you're praying to me in that operating room. Oh, it's
It is.
fantastic. And maybe he just thought it was there. Like, okay, he's on a set, and when things aren't going well, he can just get up and leave. If he's mad at the director, he can just walk off. It's just, I'm about to start to dive into that trial. The Karen Reed thing has been so preoccupying, and
Can I just real quick? Can I just go back to the Baldwin thing, to that movie, because
Oh yeah, sorry.
the only thing that was wrong with it, not wrong, but because it took place in Massachusetts, and Alec Baldwin's accent was but BB Newirth, who was on Dr. Fraser Crane's wife on Cheers for all those years,
Lilith Stern and
her
Crane.
accent was it was Maine. Why do people get why in these movies does the Maine accent come through more than the Massachusetts accent? Because her accent was terrible. She was very good in it, but her accent was terrible.
You know what? I suppose if I was from, say, like the Deep South, say like Louisiana, and I watched a movie that takes place in New Orleans, maybe I'd feel the same way. But because our ear hears it all kind of the same, and maybe it all sounds perfect if you're from, like, say, Hollywood, and you think, oh yeah, that's how people from Boston talk. But ideally, I think they're better off just don't even bother. Nicholson and The Departed just was Nicholson. And no one sat there and said, boy, that's kind of out of place. If two people that did the best ever were Christian Bale in The Fighter. I met Irish Mickey Ward when we were at WEEI. They sent me I'm sorry. His name was Dickie Eklund. And so I was at the tradition, which is when people get inducted into the New England Sports Hall of Fame, and Mickey Ward was being inducted. And I sat right behind Dickie Eklund, again, the character that Christian Bale played. And I watched like sisters come over and give him this like warning with the eyeballs, like just going, don't you act up, don't you act up. And he got up and walked out in the middle because Mickey wasn't really acknowledging him. And I thought about halfway through that, Bale didn't deserve the Oscar that he won. He deserved the Nobel Prize in acting because he became that guy. It was incredible. And he's British. The other one I would say from a character from my hometown of Weymouth, Massachusetts, George Young was played by Johnny Depp in the movie Blow. This guy from Weymouth who basically created the cocaine smuggling that has dominated America for 40 years. And recently got out of jail. George did, recently passed away. And I'm sorry, because I would have liked to have had a beer with him at Warren's, or maybe gone over to Olympic Pizza and got a couple of slices with them. But Weymouth, so maybe seen a movie at the Cameo. But yeah, for us Weymouth guys, that was a reason to be proud. But yeah, mostly nobody can do Boston accents. Sometimes even guys from Boston can't do them. Ben Affleck doesn't really do it. It's terrible.
No, neither does Matt Damon, but I don't know. Just whatever. All right, let's move on to the retrial. Your thought? I mean,
yes.
What's next, right? I mean, there was chaos again, right, towards the end.
Absolutely. Now, at the I think when you and I last spoke, the defense was still in the middle of presenting its case. They called like 6 witnesses, but the witnesses were all super impressive. You know, there was one guy who. He was the accident reconstruction guy that the internet immediately dubbed the Crash Daddy, because I guess, I mean, I don't know. I know I've already said Alec Baldwin was handsome. Maybe this guy is a tall drink of Prosecco for the ladies. I don't know. But he was kind of getting some eyeballed by the judge when he took the stand. And anyway, he's talking about the physics in his education and his master's degree, his PhD and all this other stuff. How they tested the theory that maybe the taillight was broken because John O'Keefe, the one who died, the victim and all this, he might have thrown a glass at it. So they tested whether a glass would penetrate it in that manner, and they built an air pressure cannon. And I'm like, this guy's a myth buster too? Like, what? I mean, the prosecution's expert witnesses, and I'm doing air quotes, got an associate's degree and took a couple of classes in accident reconstruction or something. But anyway, So then there was a problem with the verdict slip. There was no clear way to delineate not guilty on all the charges and whatever. Then, Pete, this is a conspiracy theory I'm going to discuss with you that I can't prove, but it's out there and it sort of seems plausible.
I hear you.
Yeah. So there were 3 jurors in the middle of the trial who went to the judge and said, we've got one juror who comes in all the time and is talking crap about the defendant. And you're told in the morning and then at lunch break and then after lunch break and then before the close of day, don't discuss the case. Judges sometimes will even say, I hope you guys talk. I hope you become friends. I hope you're friendly and discuss the events of the day, just not the trial. Well, this woman was doing it. So these 3 jurors went to the judge to let her know. One of them was removed from the jury because they said she was in a bar talking about the case. And her defense was, no, I didn't. My friends know enough not to do that, never to even ask me about it. And I was in that bar a month ago. She got bounced. The other 2 who complained were chosen as the alternates. Now, the odds of that are pretty astronomical because the courtrooms will literally have like a drum and a rotating drum like calling bingo, and they pull out the names at random. Well, I think that the book was cooked on that. Like these 3 that I mentioned were demonstrably rolling their eyes when the prosecution would make some outlandish claim, or when the lead investigator was sitting on the stand and reading his text, like where he's calling, the defendant every name of the book and whatever. They were visibly disgusted and not buying the case. They all managed to not be in that room deliberating. And I think maybe the prosecution got to the clerk and they did remember the Patrick Ewing frozen envelope theory?
Oh, of course, which was disproved many, many times, but yes.
Okay, maybe it was one of those scenarios. I don't know. But then, we get a mistrial, and then a week later, the prosecution files a motion under pains and penalties of perjury, mind you, where everything in there has to be demonstrably true, that the jurors have come to them and said, we had a 12-0 vote for not guilty on the murder charge. So who knows where this is going? I just know by the time this thing gets retried, the prosecution might not have a law enforcement official left because they're all getting suspended. That's either none of them have been fired yet, but a couple are on the rubber gun club, as we call it, where you just desk duty and you get your gun taken away. And I think we've only begun to go down this rabbit hole.
Speaking of law enforcement, have you seen the new Axel Foley Beverly Hills Cop movie? I did.
No.
I have. I liked it. Sometimes
is it good? Is it good standing on its own, or is it one of those like, it was good to see them back together again? It was, it's fun to put the band back together even after whatever it's been 30 years.
I think it could stand on its own. It's just, he's got the daughter, and they kind of never talk about the mother at all, and that kind of thing. And she's also she's an attorney in the movie. I think it's overall it was done well. I liked it. I'd probably actually watch it again. But
I think if there's a genre where you can bring that kind of thing back after a long time, I think it's action movies. What I mean? Sometimes it can be preposterous. Bruce Willis is now like in his 50s, and he's he's launching a car up to blow up a helicopter or something. Like, wait, what happened in the first one? He just was a guy that wouldn't give up. He's just a tough guy. What are we doing? Beverly Hills Cop is a weird thing in that it's an action comedy, and comedy's really hard to get a good sequel. I mean, the number of really good comedy sequels we've seen in our lifetimes, you could count on the fingers of one hand. I'd say like
Beverly Hills Cop 2 wasn't bad. The third one was not good.
Yeah. If we're talking about movies that tried a sequel after 30-something years, I just rewatched, and I'd seen it at the theaters, I rewatched Top Gun Maverick, and oh boy, does that hold up. It
absolutely does. Yeah.
Just, the first one in so many ways is silly. I've never once watched it. And I mean, when it first came out, I saw it at the theater to about a year ago when I watched it with one of my sons. where I wasn't like making fun of it in some way. You know what I mean? Like
The
it just
dialogue was so child. The dialogue was awful. The action scenes were fantastic. A couple of funny lines and all that stuff. But you're right. You will go. But it's still though when I still enjoy it like you do. You start laughing at it. Maverick is so different.
yes, exactly. Like there's no scene like Maverick. Yes, I know you flew amazingly and you're an incredible pilot, but I couldn't say it in front of the others because they'd know I've fallen for you. And then the tongues go out and stuff like that and take my breath away. And it's just so
Yeah, the
like,
little
like
paper
movie.
airplane. How about the two-piece paper airplane, the jet that he made at the end? You never see
Yeah,
what's on it.
you'll be flying rubber dog shit out of Hong Kong.
Oh God!
Yeah,
These are
but,
great. Yeah, no,
this one had just enough of the fun
yeah.
goofiness and was slightly over the top characters. And then you see Val Kilmer, and it's just that scene was just so brilliant. Like I woke up yesterday and Val Kilmer was trending on my Twitter, which tells a lot about what I do on Twitter. Like I'm constantly, clearly it's all about 80s and 90s movies for this kid. But and he was fine. I was like, thank goodness. Like I think he had tweeted something. But that whole scene, how they worked in a way where him with the throat cancer could still like communicate. It was touching, and yeah, I friggin' love that movie. If they could make every sequel with that much care and genuine affection for the source material, I'd have some respect for Hollywood. But far too many times, it's just like, well, we haven't rebooted Total Recall in a while. Let's just slap some name actor in there and see what we can do. We'll just take out all the fun parts,
I would like, speak of taking out the fun parts, anybody who spends money to go see Twisters, I think it comes out next week, you should be automatically arrested and put in jail for 24 hours without food or drink. That's how outraged I am by that stupid, idiotic trailer. I mean, it really, absolutely pathetic that they can't come up with something better than that. You want to make a sequel with Helen Hunt, and you want to do, I don't know what her life turned out like after. They can't. What's his name's dead, so she can't even. She married him.
Yeah, we can't have Bill Paxton. I was thinking about this yesterday when the trailer popped up on YouTube. You and I were live on the air on a Sunday morning at WEI when we lost Bill Paxton, and it was just the more you see that guy in movies, the more you friggin' appreciate him. And he was good in that ridiculous tornado movie where you had two teams of storm chasers and one are good and they're pure and they're into it because for the science, and the others are corporate, they're evil, and they're in it for profit, man. Like what are we doing? We're judging storm chasers by their moral compass. It was preposterous, and now it kind of seems like they're doing more of the same. Except, geez, I'm flaking on his name. The guy who was in Top Gun, Glenn. Is it Glenn Powell? Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's in the movie Hitman that's big on Netflix now. Yeah, just Hollywood's new handsome guy who is cocky and arrogant, and girls want to date him so that they can like fix him or whatever. And he's in that, the chewing gum, like, yeah, let's go chase this storm, man. Let's go into this. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you'd be better off just either rewatching the original Twister or just watching a documentary about them. I mean, what are we doing? But again, Hollywood is officially out of ideas.
The first thing I remember about Bill Paxton, with a couple of minutes left with Jerry Thornton from Barstool Sports, was in Aliens, and he was hysterical before he got killed. He was kind of a smart ass, but he was sort of a chicken shit kind of guy, but had some great lines, especially when Sigourney Weaver starts, it's a couple of people that died, and Sigourney Weaver, nuked the young girl. Sigourney Weaver goes off of this thing. He's like, well, this little girl survived and she is blah, blah, blah. He goes, why didn't you put her in charge?
Yeah, it's so good. And you know that his most famous line ever, game over, man. He improvised that. And they said, perfect. That's just absolutely perfect.
Some of this? Yeah, what about you? You want some of that?
Yeah. And great heroic death. He was also Chet in Weird Science. Like,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Classic over the top evil bully, like just making his younger brother's life a living hell. He was great in that. And then one of my all-time favorite movies in my top 10 alongside of like Hunt for Red October is Apollo 13.
Oh yeah, he was great in that. Yeah, he was great in that.
Fantastic. I gave that a rewatch too, and it is absolutely a perfect film. Like there's not too many you can put in the category of perfect film. I'd say Back to the Future is one, Apollo 13 too, meaning anyone can like it. A kid can like it, an old lady can like it. Like if you like action movies, you can like it. If you like rom-coms, you'll still like it, even though there's no romance in it. I friggin' love that film. And Bill Paxton, we're sadder without him.
Yeah, a couple more things real quick. So Joy B says, agree 110%, Jerry. Love when Jerry is on, big time morning energy. Jerry and Pete need to go storm chasing in the Midwest next year and record it. Yeah, I'll chase, but I don't know about storm. Wow, Jerry with the weird science reference. Outstanding.
I appreciate you guys. I'll go storm chasing, but only if I can be in character as Dusty, the Philip Seymour Hoffman character. We called him the Extreme, man. He threw a whiskey bottle into the storm and it never hit the ground. And like, who could have watched that and said, someday this guy's going to be a well-respected, highly, decorated actor? Nope, he was just Dusty, man. Wicked cool.
Remember Bill Paxton goes, what was his girlfriend's name? She's like, Dusty, why don't you explain to Sandra why you are the way you are?
Oh, jeez.
Hey, one last thing. Do you watch The Bear at all on Hulu? Have you watched The Bear?
Yes, exactly. I just started season 3 last night.
It's so intense, and the cameras are the way it's directed. But I need to like take a tranquilizer after every episode. You're so like wound up, and it's just like everything's in your face, and I'm like, I either have to take a tranquilizer or a shot or watch something silly right after that because you got to decompress. You can't watch like back-to-back episodes. I get like agita. I'm like, holy shit, I'm freaking out.
Pete, little known fact about me that I don't mention much because it's sort of incongruous to everything else I've ever done. For a while, I cooked for a living, and I spent some time working in a restaurant, and it brings
me too.
So many old stress like memories, like stuff that you repressed, the stuff that kind of comes out like in a stress dream sometimes, or I wake up in a sweat because I've got all these orders coming in, I got all these shrimp scampies or whatever. And I just remember that life was you would walk in, if you were working like the second shift, a chef would be screaming at you, let's go, we're in the weeds. And that would last for like 11 hours and you didn't get rich doing it. It was incredible. And The Bear so accurately does it. So if you remember the first episode of season 3, it was basically a clip show. But it was cleverly done. It was all like kind of out of sequence and whatever. And I turned to the Irish Rose and I said, yeah, one thing they haven't shown is that 7 Fishes episode, which was the most stressful half hour of television I've ever watched in my life. And then they showed just Jamie Lee Curtis yelling and a plate breaking and them coming at each other over the table. Was Bob Odenkirk in that scene? It's like the brother-in-law or something.
I think he is. Yeah.
And
it was so intense.
Oh gosh. And so you see it, the artistry of working in a restaurant, but just even the parts where he's putting a scallop on a plate and garnishing it and just carefully trying to drizzle some kind of
truffle or something.
Sauce on it. And it's the same way. It's so well done. And yet I sit there afterwards and you're right. You need to like go lay down for a little while and try to believe that, you live in a just insane universe again.
Hey, before I let you go, you are hosting tonight, right? If I'm not mistaken, a big comedy show in Weymouth, Massachusetts.
You're very close. It's actually next Friday.
Next Friday.
So the 19th, I'm down Cape Cod and Mashpee at Knockabout Brewery, and then the following Friday, I'm at Barrel House C in Weymouth, where I've done a bunch of shows.
You're hosting with John Turco, and then speaking of another great show, you're going to have Jackie Flynn from Loudermilk, which is a fucking great show.
It's fantastic. Big Ron Livingston fan. Obviously, everyone remembers him from Office Space, and one of the stars of the greatest single season of television of all time, which is Band of Brothers. And so Jackie's terrific. I got to work with him last summer, and I was thrilled to be able to land him. So you're in the either in Cape Cod or the South Shore, or anywhere in New England. It's worth the trip. Grab some beers.
Can that be streamed? Can you guys
with some friends?
Can I watch it on via stream? You guys are allowed to do that or not?
We could. We don't. You know, a lot of people have their tapes and they put it on YouTube. I'm sort of more like living in the moment. There's nothing like a live performance. And you know, when you put a camera on things, it changes everything. The old Heisenberg principle. So there's nothing that's better than just live shows where, like, I only work with friends, and I'm lucky to have a lot of them. We hang out, we have a drink or two, we do a show, we get off stage, we're hanging out with friends, we make a couple of bucks, but it's just,
that's great.
I cannot forget how this time 4 years ago, shows would just start to open back up. And the first one I did was literally in a parking lot. The audience was under a tent. The comics were like standing on a box. Behind us was the drive-through at a bank. And I was just so happy to be back on stage, and I messed up every punchline. But now to be able to do this in the middle of like a normal summer where life has gotten back kind of the way it was, but and let's keep doing it before the world falls apart, as it's doing, as we open this discussion with.
All right, my friend, enjoy everything. Love talking to you all the time. And when next we speak, the odds of Tyreek Hill having 5 or 6 more kids is about 5-1 odds. I'm gonna play 100 to win 5 on that.
I just want to warn Tyreek Hill. Antonio Cromartie gave birth to twins after a vasectomy, so the challenge is on. Let's see what you can do, Tyreek. See which one of you wins the competition of father of our country.
All right, Jerry. Unless Angel has something to say, I don't know if it's a pain in the butt for you, but otherwise, Jerry, we'll let you go. Thanks so much, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks to Angel. Thanks to your audience. I can't wait to talk soon.
All right, Jerry Thornton, great Jerry Thornton from Barstool Sports, and that is just about going to do it for us, Angel. You have been fantastic today and all week, and we're going to chat this weekend because I got a super duper Ethernet thing that is going to solve some other problems, which I love, and with your help. We got a kick-ass show. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to me, O'Brien. Thanks to Jerry Thornton. Most of all, thanks to Angel Martinez for doing his thing. And Angel, have a great and safe week. I don't know if you can come back on or not. I don't mess with it if you don't have to. You've done enough. Okay. Processing. He's trying to beam over.
Yes.
There he is. Well, thanks for everything. Thanks for everything you did this week. Fantastic stuff. And we will be back Monday at 7 a.m. Coming up later today from noon to 1. It is middays with Q. Just a 1-hour show today, but you don't want to miss it. But Rich Quinones, I'm going to check that out as well. So, Angel, have a great weekend, you and Deb, and we will talk Monday at 7 a.m. Well, you and I will talk before that, but officially, the show will be back Monday at 7 a.m. So thanks again to everybody checking us out across our entire Barstool Sports Network video platform. So, my usual sign off. I'm out to get and here comes Charles Groomer at the door. Bye.